welcome to the next video. So in this one I'm going to be talking about how I found a place to live when I had moved to Japan. In the previous video I talked about my trip over and that I was staying at a guest house. So what I ended up doing on my days off and in the mornings prior to going to work is I met with a realtor who happened to be an expat. I forget if he was Canadian or where he was from. Really nice guy, very helpful, and it was in downtown Osaka if I recall. And he had been living there for a long time, spoke the local language, and he was kind enough to suggest a series of apartments that I had never looked into. Let me backtrack for a moment. I had gone on to, I believe it was gaijinpot.com, as well as some other sites where they have a listing of rental properties. I learned online about things like key money, which is like a one-time gift to the landlord, and what deposits were like, the categories of the different apartments, like what all the letters are. Like you'll see 2LDK, and it's like, well, what is the L, what is D, and so on mean. So I had already researched that before I had gone. So there were a series of apartments that I was looking at, and he mentioned he could show me some of those, but that there were others that I should consider from a larger umbrella corporation called UR. For those that don't know, UR is like government housing or government subsidized housing, which I know a lot of people are going to initially go, ugh. But like he said, and like I'm telling you, they're really well maintained properties. What a lot of them were apartments and or condos that previous workers for different industries used to live in back during the manufacturing boom of Japan. And over time they've just been repurposed, cleaned up, renovated, and just turned into regular facilities. And they have all sorts of discounts for people of different situations. So if you're a single mom, you get one discount. If you're a family of X size, then you get another discount. So he had suggested to me, hey, you're above a certain age. I was about, I moved to Japan April 12th, I believe, of 2017. And so at the time I would have been, 39. So he said, because you're above X age, you're not going to pay as much for the housing unit. And so he said, well, you're interested in looking at it? I said, sure. So went out there and looked at it, or looked at a few different properties, two in kind of the same suburban area of Osaka, which was Gotenyama, which is just south of Kyoto and a bit north of Kyobashi Station. So I guess for anybody who lives there, if you know where the Kuzuha Mall is, I was a couple stops away and one stop ahead past the Hirakata Station. So anyway, looked at it. It was a 4 or 5 story apartment building facing a street, but not a very busy street, and not far from one of the local universities. I think it was Kansai Gakujin. And it was a big place. It had 2 bedrooms, 2 balconies, one east, one west facing, little kitchenette area, a very big living area. A restroom with a separate toilet room, and then the shower and bathtub combination, and then of course the little landing areas you could take off, when you came in to take off your shoes. Sliding doors and tatami mats. That was one of 2 that I had seen. There was one that was, I think, a 1-bedroom across the street, and another 2-bedroom on the same building as the first 2-bedroom that I had seen. However, I think one room was Western style, so it had regular flooring, and then the other one had tatami. And I said, no, I want both tatami. Might as well, if I'm in Japan, might as well keep the tradition going where I live. And after thinking about it a day or so and looking at the price, which at the time was about 55 80,000 yen, and I think that was with like an extra, some fees included, compared to being closer to downtown Osaka, or being in Kyoto, which in some cases could run you 70, 80,000 yen a month. I figured, you know what, this isn't a bad deal. I'm in the suburbs, but I can easily take the train to either place. And later I would meet people who lived in downtown Osaka who told me, oh, I have this tiny hole-in-the-wall place that I pay 80,000 yen for, and they just wanted it for the convenience of being able to go and drink in downtown Osaka, which is a little overrated. Not that it isn't fun, but you're losing out a lot of money. At the same time, there was a representative who I was emailing back and forth, and one of my coworkers had suggested the same company called Leo Palace, which also provides services to help expats and others find apartments. Most of the apartments are turnkey, so you don't have to buy any furniture, you don't have to buy an AC unit or anything, unlike what I had purchased or I had rented out with UR. I had to get my own AC unit. There was a spot for it in the living area. I could put more if I liked, but there were no beds, there was nothing. So I kept extending my stay in my guest house so that I could take time off, or take the days that I had off to go and buy furniture and other necessities for the apartment. So I had gone to a place called Komeri, which is like the equivalent of Home Depot or Lowe's in the US. Picked up a futon, picked up the sheets, pillow, and all that, so at least I had a place to sleep. Then once that was set up, checked out of my guest house and started living in the new place, and over time slowly furnished it with stuff from secondhand stores, like my washer, washing machine, and table, sofa, that kind of stuff. So that's how I found a place to live. Anyway, see you in the next video.